Good morning and welcome to Capable of Many Things. My name is James, and today we're going to be discussing QCAD. Now, QCAD is a free two-dimensional CAD software that's used by a lot of makers. So today we'll go over the installation of the software as well as how to navigate the software, and other videos will come later. That being said, let's get capable. Now, today to get started, we're going to have to open up our internet browser, and we're going to go ahead and search for QCAD. Should be a pretty easy search. However, if you don't want to search for it, you can always type in qcad.org. You can see that here, and it'll open up this screen. Now, we're going to go ahead and head to the downloads page. There's only one piece of previous knowledge you'll have to have when it comes to downloading this software, and that's going to be finding out what version of your system you have. That's going to be pivotal for you to choose the correct installer for your computer. So that may be something you're going to have to find out for yourself. But once you have that knowledge, we can go ahead and select the installer. It's going to download the installer here. You see on the top right hand side, it's downloading that installer. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and open it up. And I do that by selecting it. It's going to run through the installation. We're going to go ahead and walk through part of this trial setup here. Now, you'll notice here it says trial. We're going to get to that. This is a trial for the professional version. They also have the free open source version that's free to use without having to purchase the other upgrades. Now, QCAD has a lot of great updates and upgrades that come with a professional trial. I've used it before, and if you find that QCAD is a great resource for you as a maker or as a user, I highly recommend it. But for a lot of the base work that you're doing in other systems, let's say you're doing this for CNC plasma or what have you, you may not need all of those features, but those features do add functionality that can make your life easier, especially as you head into a production environment. But you may also be looking at other softwares as well. Let's go ahead and hit next to continue through. This is all the preliminary work necessary to install the system. We're going to go ahead and hit install. You'll notice this little shield here. Now, this shield here means it's going to get some sort of administrator authorization on the computer. Essentially, the computer saying, hey, is it okay to install this piece of software? Is it safe? And what you'll say is, yes, this is a known open source software. It's a safe piece of software. Let's go ahead and install it. So we're going to hit install. It's going to freeze for a moment, and I hit OK, and we move on. Now it's going to run through the installation process. This will take a couple moments, and then we'll get into the configuration of it and the navigation. We're going to hit finish, and let's go ahead and exit out of our browser. Okay, so what we'll see in the top left hand side of our screen here is we have installed QCAD, and again it's saying QCAD trial. Let's go ahead and open it up. There we go. Now, sometimes I have seen QCAD in the past actually pop up a quick check on what you want your default specs to be. It seems like it didn't do that in this case, but there will be a request that comes up depending on if this is your first time installing the software or not, and it just asks you whether or not you want it in inches and other specifications. If that does crop up, you can continue and hit OK with the selection that they've provided for you, or you can adjust it accordingly. So you can go to metric units or not. Again, we're using imperial units here, so we're just going to move along with that. Here we are in QCAD. You'll notice that there's a little dialog box that's popped up here saying, hey, thanks for trying the professional version, because by default, the QCAD that you download is the professional version. Now, we want to adjust for that. We want to not have to deal with this 15-minute block that they put into the software. And the only way to do that is to go down here and take a look at what they've adjusted. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK down here. and move down to this bottom right hand side of the screen. Let's take a look. All right, so you have trial, buy, and remove. Let's go ahead and select remove. We want to remove the professional version. Again, this is going to be, we're going to use the free variant here. And they say to remove this add-on, we need to delete the following plugins. Now, I've been using QCAD for years. Initially, it was maybe 3 plugins that you've had to remove. Now they have a large list of plugins to remove, and we're going to go ahead and delete those. In order to do so, we're going to need to find where QCAD is on our computer. Now, we have QCAD stored in the C drive under Program Files. So we'll go to our File Explorer. We will go to our C drive. We're going to go to Program Files, and we're going to go to QCAD and open that up. Here in QCAD, let's see what it says here. It says to go to Plugins. We're going to go to our plugins, and we have a nice list of scripts here. Let's take a look at what we can keep and what we can delete. QCAD Dark Style isn't on that list, but DWG is definitely on that list. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit and hold Control here. This will allow me to do a multiple selection here. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can always just go through, select the item, go right click and hit delete, or just hit the delete on your keyboard. For the sake of preference, I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control here. All right, and let's see, QCAD DXF is not on that list. QCAD PDF is on that list, so we have to delete that one. Looks like QCAD Polygon is, QCAD Project, QCAD ProScripts, QCAD Scripts can stay, QCAD SHP, Spatial Index Pro, Trace, and Triangulation. All right, so we have those. We're going to hit delete, and it's going to say, hey, can you delete all these files? So for every single one of these files, it's going to ask you, hey, can we delete it? Again, it's a security risk, and it's a risk to the software to delete these. I am going to select do this to current items and hit continue. Oh, you know what? I need to shut out of the program first. So one moment, we're going to close out of QCAD here, because obviously it won't let us delete that, and hit delete and delete, continue. All right, and now all of those plugins are gone. Let's go ahead and open QCAD again and see what it does. All righty, well, would you look at that? All right, so all of the pro features are now gone. Now we can start to use the software as it's intended. Now, I'm going to move to my property editor over here. I just like that docked over here. It has dynamic docking here. All right, so now we're in QCAD. We're going to go over a couple of different pre-set up items that you can do, and then I'll have another video on how to set some of your defaults. But let's go ahead and look at some of the navigation. Here on the left hand side, we're going to have all of our tools. You're going to have everything from how to make different ways of making lines, circles, shapes, polygons, triangles, so on and so forth. You're going to have the ability to make text. You're going to have information tools, rulers, ways to modify, cut. All of your tools are going to be here on your left hand side. All of your zoom is going to be up here. So if you get lost, one thing that can happen in CAD, and I've had it happen a couple of times, you can get lost on the screen. You may have scrolled out or scrolled in too much, and you may lose where you are. These zoom tools allows you to find where you were and fill the screen accordingly so that you can work on your project. As you're working through QCAD, another important note in navigation is knowing how to use your mouse. Now here I'm using the scroll on my mouse to zoom in and out. I push in with my scroll, so roll the scroll away from me, and I get closer to, I start zooming in on my part. As I roll the scroll back, or I scroll towards me, it's going to zoom out. If I hold the control key while scrolling, I can go up and down. If I hold the shift key while scrolling, I can go left and right. So pushing away from me on the scroll is going to make me go left. Pulling back towards me makes me go right while holding shift. While holding control, pushing away from me goes up, pulling towards me goes down. Again, useful as you work with the CAD here. Every CAD has small variations on this, but understanding that shift is left and right, control is up and down as you scroll with your mouse, and then you scroll in and out. A couple of other items here. You'll notice there's going to be a series of buttons on the right hand side. These allow you to access different interfaces. As we work through these different lessons, we're going to get to work with those interfaces and get really detailed with some of those, but for the most part we're going to leave those alone for now. And up here at the top you have your standard menu, and you can select your file. One thing we're going to see in our next video is how to set our drawing preferences and how to customize that in our default items. So that every time we open up our QCAD, it's going to be the same. So that's QCAD. That's just a brief, general, very vague overview of some of the navigation. We're going to go break into each part. We're going to start talking about shapes. We're going to talk about how to work with text, how to make text cuttable in a 2D reductive manufacturing environment like CNC Plasma, and so on. But for now, thank you all for joining. Have a great day.